Hello, how are you doing? This is Cowboy Jim, and I just was going over. Um, I was contemplating doing a remake on one particular video, and it was Christmas in a Hole truck. And I had I may well do that. I just was not pleased with it. But anyways, I thought I would do a quick look at some of the leading videos that we have had, and the highest viewed video is called Bare Ass Lake. Well, that is a lake that a cousin deemed he should call that after realizing that I was the one out in the lake swimming while I was supposed to be hunting. But it was a very hot afternoon up in the Wilmore Wilderness, and my horse was quite content to be tied up under the shade, and I was quite content to strip down and get out in that lake. And I didn't get my hat wet, which was a good thing. And the straight of it is, we had 7 cousins, 13 horses, uncles, cousins, my dad, he was still alive back then, my 2 sons, all my cousins from Drayton Valley. Oh, they're true cowboys, true cowboys. Actually, I realized that my dad wasn't there, and nor my uncle, because they had been on the first part of the hunt down on the Brazos. But anyways, evidently a must view, a Bare Ass Lake, because it's the highest scoring video we have. Number 2, My Lost Son. You might think that's a teenager gone wild. It's not. It's a 8 or 9-year-old kid that was in the care of another adult because I was sleeping under a tree at the opposite end of the lake because we had just walked in about 14 miles. And I don't like walking. I love walking on a horse, sitting on a horse while the horse is walking. I don't like walking children. Something wrong with it. I do it. I don't like doing it. I'm telling you, this my lost son, he was lost for 3 hours, 2, 3, I don't think it was 4. And he had gotten separated from the guy who was my friend, and I had asked God. I had not gone to sleep. You don't sleep in the mountains when you're me. You are very attentive because I attract very strange happenings. And I heard a bunch of yelling down at the end of the lake, and I said, Father, I said, what's going on? And he said, Joe is lost. Joe is my youngest son, is my youngest son. Well, that was when he was 8 or 9. He's now 46, or, oh dear, my. And I said to the Lord, this is mountain country. This cougar, grizzly, this is not to be taken lightly. I said, Father, is Joe going to be okay? My God said yes. I said, I'll get up and start looking for him. He said, you should do that. It was an extended couple of hours. And I walked out into a clearing at the same exact second that my son entered the clearing from the other side, and we met in the middle. But you have to understand, I speak the truth when I'm telling you my stories. I verify my stories with as many people as I can before I do them. There is no equity in lying about what God has done. Think about it. That's stupid. And I won't. Children, you, especially you that do not believe in God, listen, children, I'm with you. When I was quite young, I said, God, I do not want to believe in you unless you are absolutely real. And if you are real, beyond question real, I understand. You're, according to your word, you're probably an alien extraterrestrial being from another planetary system, because you couldn't do the stuff that I've seen done. Pyramids, they generate electricity, electrical power, force. People don't understand. Children, if you have not yet found enough evidence to believe in God, good for you. But don't quit. But you look beyond the hypocrisy and the BS of so many religions in the world. You look for something that will stand the test of time. This is it. Okay. Trust me. Trust me. Third one. My son's miracle. My first son, my lost son, I asked him if he would give me permission to do that. His name is Joe. And he said, yes, Dad, you can do it. My second son, my oldest son, his name is Scott. And I asked him if I could do the one that is called My Son's Miracle. Olds Hospital phoned 92. For some reason, my boy's mother and I were actually, we were long past the throes of divorce and everything, but we were just signing the papers and still living in the same house, because until I increased the mortgage and so on like that on my house, I couldn't pay her out. And they called and they said, Jim, if you want to see your son before he passes, you better come. You better come quickly. His mom and I, we got there quickly. My son was on a striker board in Emerge Olds Hospital, and his neck was broken. His skull was crushed, and he was unconscious totally. And I have some experience reading x-rays. I have had so many broken ribs. Some of the larger bones, yes, not many. Ribs, 60, 70. I've had 14 major surgeries that required anesthetic. Many that just like amputated a finger or replaced a joint in my ring finger. I have a titanium joint in my ring finger. Don't have a ring to wear on it anyways. But nonetheless, look at these three so far. Bear Ass Lake, my lost son, my son's miracle. There's another one here. It's forgiveness. Forgiveness was when a friend and I, we used to go to Center Street Church in Calgary. A good preacher. Oh dear Lord, not religious people. No, I actually had a preacher there tell me, Jim, if you know anyone who can't pay the rent, let me know. We have money, he said, and we take care of people. Well, that's just such a novel idea. It is scriptural. But a church that doesn't pass the offering plate around twice in one service, it's kind of hard on churches. A lot of churches are so good. Others, well, they are what they are. And I don't call myself a Christian anymore. I just choose to say that I believe in a creator. That's pretty good for me, children. So that's forgiveness. Truly watch that. There is another one, and it says, native brother with a right heart. Do you know how many views that young man, that young native man has had in that story that I did? I did that story because that young man impressed me. I'll tell you a tiny bit about it, okay? I'll tell you a tiny bit. I picked a young First Nations man up on the way into Olds from the little Olds overpass, that little gray house on the west side of the road. I built that. I had my cabinet shop there. That's where Jadan, my son's horse, was shot by some mean-spirited, fatherless child. Anyways, I picked this native kid up, and he is kind of limping. And, okay, I know how to use the English language, but I get a little ranch-like, and I'll say limping. It means limping. Young man climbed in my truck. I said, son, you're limping a tiny bit. Yeah, I said, why is that? Oh, he said, I'll show you. He reached down and grabbed his right leg and brought it up and put it on his left knee. And I did this sort of thing. I looked at the bottom of that Indian kid's foot, and I saw his big toe. And in looking at the toe, I saw, it is unbelievable what I saw. It was a God thing. I saw where all the epidermal layer, the skin, had been worn off. And I saw the meat. It still covered the bone, the toe. I saw the blood and the meat. And I said, brother, I'm trying to concentrate driving. I said, brother, what happened? He said, I was in an accident and was paralyzed. And he said, I'm starting to come around. He said, there was a time I couldn't move. And he said, that was only maybe 6 months ago. And he said, I am so much better now. And I said, what? How did you do that to your toe? He said, when I was paralyzed, my toes kind of bent down on themselves, both feet. I said, your other foot's not like that. He said, yes, it is. I didn't ask for him to show me. I mean, there was nothing insincere about that young man. I looked into his eyes. The clarity was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I am not sure that this isn't one of my favorite videos because a man, a 17, 18-year-old kid, of what appeared to be true innocence. And I mean, innocence. No whining. I don't whine, bitch, nor complain. I don't. I refuse. There's a reason for that. Many times when we whine, it could be that we're whining and complaining about what God has or hasn't yet done in our lives. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I sought evidence as to the existence of God, and that was enough for me. I quit attending church. I started to realize that I had never been anything but alone my whole life anyways, except God. Always God. And my mom, she was such a, well, I would almost say she was such a man, but she exemplified what a man should be. She was so good. And I really encourage you, if you're a non-Christian, that is so good that you know that you are a non-Christian. You don't believe in anything or whatever. Get to know what it is you do believe in. If you don't believe in God, hey, you're right where you need to be in order to be open to learn about God. What if God is real? What if the hypocrisy that we've seen over the centuries does not reflect who and what God really is? What if people have tainted the very heart of God, the magnitude of his love that caused him, he and his son, that Jesus should suffer, bleed, and die on the cross to give us a way out, a choice. I did a terrible video this morning on abuse. It breaks my heart. People say, why does God allow there to be abuse? Because he had to give you a choice. He would not inflict his law, his behavior upon you without giving you an opportunity to choose. And unfortunately, those bastards that hurt children, and my heart goes out to those ladies who grow up in that. But God gave you a choice. It's your choice. Gave me a choice. I just have seen too much proof, too much evidence. If you ever started. I know I only have 129 videos right now. I'll probably hit 200 by Christmas. If they're worth watching, I don't care if I only hit 131, given that I already have 129. I don't want numerical stuff. I want God. I want to show what my perception of that alien being who we call God. I used to say, if Jesus Christ walked into the door of the average church, they would give him the boot. They would run him right out. Well, we may not have the best attire. He probably would look like a street person. Because you look at me, you have to look past my exterior. I'm 72. I feel like 40. But look into a person's eyes, you'll see their heart. God bless you. Merry Christmas. And listen, take a look at God. Take a look at these videos. Oh, God loves you. God bless.